Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill news. So much news, you guys. So much news. Almost too much for me to cover, but we have got multiple stories that I just felt we had to talk about, and then I will be doing a thread from my friend Methods on all of today's posts. But first, a word from our sponsor. I trust and use My Patriot Supply for my own food storage, and you can too. They make it easy for you to do. Now, this is the final week for a limited time, low price, exclusively for my listeners on two popular emergency food kits. Go to my special webpage, preparewithredpill78.com, to see them both and order. These food kits include breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. My Patriot Supply will ship these kits discreetly to your door. So do it now at preparewithredpill78.com. preparewithredpill78.com. Justice RBG caught on video being helped through Reagan Airport. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was caught on video walking through Reagan International Airport on Monday. The frail justice was helped through the airport by a female assistant. This is the first time Justice Ginsburg was caught on camera since her December cancer surgery. Ginsburg's doctors have indicated there is no evidence of remaining disease following the surgery. Now, I have seen memes posted showing that this outfit she was wearing the exact same outfit 1 year ago prior. Also, there's some other interesting things. Mike from Space Shot 76 pointed out to me that this would be, I would imagine, Secret Service protection, but apparently it's very unusual for the Secret Service to be wearing these badges on the outside, calling attention to themselves. Now, why would they be wearing them in such a public fashion? Could it be that potentially these are U.S. Marshals and not Secret Service agents? Also, what I want to draw your attention to is that the justice here is walking like completely upright. When did she lose the curvature in her spine? So let's watch this video and let's take a look.
Hi, Justice Ginsburg. How are you doing? Everyone in America's wondering how you're doing right now.
It's nuts. It's
Just fine? All right. Are you excited about all the success of all the RBG movie?
with a flywheel. One of my concepts.
Very odd. Very, very odd. So what do you guys think about this? Do you believe that this is Justice Ginsburg? Do you believe this is a body double? Do you believe that she is being guided by protectors or guards? I'd love to hear about it. All right, next from the Gateway Pundit. Breaking: crooked cop Rod Rosenstein to leave DOJ by mid-March. And Jeff Rosen has been picked as his replacement. Disgraced FBI official Andrew Mccabe sat down with CBS's 60 Minutes, which aired Sunday night. McCabe told CBS that he ordered 2 investigations into President Trump because he wanted to know if Trump fired FBI Director Comey to impede the Russia investigation, and was Trump acting on behalf of the Russian government. 2 of the most ludicrous thoughts to ever cross an individual's mind. But again, we're dealing with liberals, and that's a mental disorder. There was zero evidence that President Trump was working on behalf of the Russian government. And there was zero evidence Donald Trump conspired with the Russians to win the 2016 presidential election when McCabe opened these 2 investigations. James Comey testified to Congress in December that by the time he was fired, there was no evidence of any type of conspiracy between Trump and Russia. McCabe also accused Rod Rosenstein of volunteering at least twice to wear a wire while meeting with President Trump in an attempt to see him impeached. On Monday night, Sean Hannity announced dirty cop Rod Rosenstein will step down as Deputy Attorney General by mid-March. Jeff Rosen was picked as his replacement. Rosen is the current Deputy of Transportation. Now, here is the video. Let's take a listen.
Breaking news tonight, Fox News can confirm that the Deputy AG, Rod Rosenstein, is expected to leave the Department of Justice in mid-March. This comes on the heels of bombshell revelations relating to his conduct while at the department. You got to remember, back in 2016, a small group of high-ranking, unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats with a dark political agenda they sought to undermine then candidate, then president-elect, and ultimately undo the election of we, the people. First, they rigged and fixed the Hillary Clinton email investigation so she would not be charged with the Espionage Act felonies and, of course, obstruction of justice, because we can all delete 33,000 subpoenaed emails, right? And now we're learning that this agenda was even deeper than we ever realized, with that so-called insurance policy put in place to bludgeon President Trump should he win, put in place by the very people that believe Trump voters were smelly Walmart people. Hillary should win 100 million to 0. That's why they saved their favorite candidate. Anyone else would have been charged. And according to disgraced FBI official Andrew Mccabe, he's saying in May 2017, there were actual discussions with Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein to wear a wire in
All right, so I just wanted to get to that point so that we can talk real quickly about the whole Andrew Mccabe fiasco that's happening right now. Now, we've been told multiple times, what makes a good movie? Great actors. The things that Andrew Mccabe are saying, he has got to understand the gravity of his statements and his admissions. He has admitted to treason and sedition on multiple occasions. Every time he opens his mouth, or the fact that he put this in a book, he has admitted to making plans, secret plans, to remove a duly elected president of the United States. He cannot misunderstand the gravity of what he's doing or what he's saying. It is impossible for this to be lost on him. So I have a theory, and I was speaking with somebody about this earlier today. I think that I think that Andrew McCabe is out there in the public eye admitting to this because as he does so, he is drawing all of these other people from the resistance into the story and saying that they were part of it, that they were willing participants, okay? People in Congress, people in the DOJ, people in the FBI. By doing so, he is sealing their fate because he's admitting to his own crimes and testifying to the fact that these other people were party to it. Now, by doing so, he's either going to land himself in prison or, as I think, he's perhaps going to get a reduced sentence. And his public admission is part of his plea deal in order to secure that reduced sentence. So that's what I think is happening. I think Andrew McCabe has flipped. I think Andrew McCabe fully is understanding what exactly he's done and the gravity and the seriousness and the severity of that. And so what he's doing is he is out there talking about it openly, and he is implicating these other people. Therefore, he is going to receive some type of reduced sentence because without him, he has the testimony. Andrew McCabe was out behind the scenes orchestrating it. Without him, they would not be able to go after these other people in the same way. Public disclosure has got to happen, and to hear it come from Andrew McCabe's mouth, the left cannot ignore it. All right, so now in more wonderful news, Judicial Watch, again, just bringing it home. Judicial Watch is now suing the Department of Justice for the Coup documents. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch announced Tuesday it filed a FOIA lawsuit against the Justice Department for all coup documents following Andrew McCabe's claims that DAG Rosenstein discussed wearing a wire in a plot to record President Trump and ultimately remove him from office via the 25th Amendment. In addition to McCabe's claims, former FBI lawyer James Baker testified to Congress in October that he was told that DAG Rod Rosenstein said 2 Trump cabinet members were ready to support removing President Trump via the 25th Amendment. Mr. Baker did not identify those 2 cabinet members. Judicial Watch said in a press release Tuesday it is seeking all records of communication of former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, the Office of the Attorney General Jeff Sessions, or the Office of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein discussing the 25th Amendment or presidential fitness. Additionally, the lawsuit seeks all recordings made by any official in the Office of the Attorney General or Deputy Attorney General of meetings in the Executive Office of the President or Vice President, Judicial Watch stated. President of Judicial Watch Tom Fitton had this to say about the coup plotters and the cover-up. It is no surprise that we are facing an immense cover-up of senior FBI and DOJ leadership discussions to pursue a seditious coup against President Trump. This effort to overthrow President Trump is a fundamental threat to our constitutional republic, so Judicial Watch will do everything it can in the courts to expose everything possible about this lawlessness. The New York Times first reported on Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein's plot to wear a wire and oust Trump with the 25th Amendment in September. DAG Rosenstein began plotting Trump's removal shortly after FBI Director Comey was fired, a firing that Rod Rosenstein recommended. The New York Times reported, citing memos penned by then acting FBI Director Andrew Mccabe. Disgraced FBI official Andrew Mccabe confirmed that coup plot when he sat down with CBS's 60 Minutes, which aired Sunday night. McCabe told CBS that he ordered 2 investigations into President Trump because he wanted to know if Trump fired FBI Director Comey to impede the Russia investigation, and was Trump acting on behalf of the Russian government. McCabe also went into detail about DAG Rod Rosenstein's plot to wear a wire and record President Trump. "I never get searched when I go into the White House. I could easily wear a recording device," Rosenstein told McCabe. President Trump lashed out at treasonous McCabe and Rosenstein on Monday over their plot to remove him from office. The president fired off 2 tweets on Monday using the words treason and treasonous to describe the actions of the coup plotters as he ramps up his fight against the deep state. Paging AG Bill Barr. All right, the president had more to say about this today, but we will get that at the end when we go and look at the posts from our favorite Anon. It begins. Empire is now cutting Jussie Smollett scenes after the hate hoax unravels. The Empire strikes back. Jussie Smollett's scenes are being slashed for production on Empire this week, according to numerous sources who spoke to both TMZ and Deadline. TMZ was told that in the past 24 hours, writers have been busy making edits and the script has undergone multiple revisions. As reported by TMZ, production sources tell TMZ Jussie was supposed to have 9 scenes and a big musical number in the second-to-last episode, which is being shot now. But 5 of his scenes have been cut, and his musical number has been 86th. As for the remaining 4 scenes, we're told he's no longer the focus. The scene features an ensemble, meaning he's flanked by a number of cast members. With his duties pared down, Jussie will be spending way less time on set. Instead of working every day this week, we're told Jussie's working Friday or possibly Thursday, and he won't be rehearsing. It's also being reported that Jussie Smollett's case may be heading to a grand jury as early as Tuesday, today. The evidence presented could lead to a felony indictment against Smollett for filing a false police report. On January 29th, Jussie Smollett told Chicago police that 2 white Trump supporters ambushed him on the streets of Chicago at 2 a.m. while he was walking to his apartment following a 2 a.m. run to Subway to grab a sandwich. Smollett alleged the 2 white males recognized him as the actor from Empire, hurled racist and homophobic slurs at him, poured bleach on him, and put a noose around his neck. The hate hoax began to unravel as it was revealed that 2 Nigerian brothers who were also extras on Empire were paid $4,000 to stage the attack. It is also being reported that Smollett and the brothers are behind the racist threatening letter sent to Empire's Chicago studio. Jussie Smollett could face up to 3 years in prison for filing a false police report in the state of Illinois, a Class 4 felony. Now, from the start, I knew that this had to be fake. There's a couple of different things. First of all, 80% of Chicago voted for Trump, all right? The idea that there are 2 white guys walking around with MAGA hats in Chicago and that they would happen to see Jussie Smollett at 2 a.m. and recognize him is preposterous. Not only because of the demographics, but because of the fact that I defy anyone who is a white Trump supporter to even name a single actor off of this show, Empire. I didn't know who Jussie Smollett was until I saw this coming out. You know, my daughter watches Empire because she thinks it's hilarious. But I had no idea who this guy was. You know, I knew that he was an actor. I had seen him in pictures and stuff. But now I realized I had seen him with Kamala Harris. So it's all coming together. This thread is unraveling, and I am ecstatic. Love it. We have been vindicated yet again. Hate hoaxes abound. All right, now in some excellent news from the Daily Caller. Trump has officially launched the Space Force. But there's a catch. No. President Donald Trump signed a directive that will launch the Space Force on Tuesday, placing it under the Air Force. The plan still needs to be approved by Congress, reported the Wall Street Journal. Space, that's the next step, and we have to be prepared, Trump said Tuesday, according to the Wall Street Journal. I think we'll have great support from Congress. The Space Force is set to be under the administration of the Air Force, much like the Marine Corps is under the administration of the U.S. Navy, reported Wall Street Journal. Trump had pushed for the Space Force to be independent from other military branches. I think the fact that we're having a national debate on space is really, really healthy, Air Force Chief of Staff General David Goldfein said Tuesday morning, according to the Washington Post. We're the best in the world at space, and our adversaries know it, and they've been studying us and investing in ways to take away that capability in crisis or conflict. That, to me, is the problem statement, and we as a nation cannot let that happen. Trump is expected to propose funding for the Space Force in a 2020 budget plan with the goal of shifting the Space Force to a separate military department, according to a senior administration official cited by Wall Street Journal. Estimates for how much the Space Force will cost have varied. Vice President Mike Pence called for an additional $8 billion to invest in space technology over the next 5 years during a speech on August 9th. There is that famous signature on the order signed by the president. You gotta love it. Meanwhile, the Air Force released its own $13 billion estimate of the costs over the next 5 years to stand up both a Space Force and a U.S. Space Command, but Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan said that the move would cost less than $5 billion, reported Defense News. This is why I love having business people in government, because they can check the waste. The Space Force will be represented among the Joint Chiefs of Staff and commanded by an Air Force Undersecretary for Space, reported. The Space Force will be represented among the Joint Chiefs of Staff and commanded by an Air Force Undersecretary for Space, reported CNBC. The Space Force has garnered some unexpected defenders, including astrophysicist and television host Neil deGrasse Tyson. Space Force! Just because it came out of Trump's mouth doesn't make it a crazy idea, deGrasse Tyson told Salon in September. Trump originally floated the idea of a Space Force during a speech at Miramar Marine Corps Air Station in California on March 13th, and people laughed. They said, he's crazy. You know what? Neil deGrasse Tyson's right. I never thought I'd agree with Neil deGrasse Tyson, but just because it comes out of Trump's mouth doesn't make it crazy. You know, in fact, it makes it genius, because he absolutely understands. Space is where it's at, and we need to be ready. Now, in a story I have been meaning to get to for like the last week, this is pretty incredible. Accused spy for Iran allegedly radicalized during stint at U.S. university that took $100 million from Muslim nations. Texas-born Monica Witt is charged with defecting to Iran and working as a spy. Witt earned a master's degree in Middle East Studies from George Washington University, which has taken $100 million from Muslim-majority nations. The U.S. government has also funded Middle East centers within U.S. universities, but the centers sometimes employ academics who espouse anti-American sentiment. A former U.S. Air Force intelligence specialist accused of espionage for Iran, Monica Witt, was allegedly radicalized in part during a stint at a Washington university that has taken $100 million from Saudi Arabia and other Muslim countries. Certain American universities have received funding from the U.S. government with a partial goal of training students to be diplomats and intelligence specialists for the U.S., while simultaneously accepting financial donations from Middle East countries. In some cases, the programs have been staffed by academics who are critical of U.S. policy and who publicly espouse fringe positions. Witt was charged February 13th by the Department of Justice with sharing government secrets with Iranian officials. She was allegedly helping create a cyber hacking operation on former fellow agents. She is at large and believed to be in Iran. Witt's radicalization was rooted in Miss Witt's military service and accelerated while she was in graduate school at George Washington University, where she earned a master's degree in its Middle East Studies program, the New York Times reported. A classmate of Witt's, Corey Ellis, told The Times that everyone just kind of sat and watched as Witt expressed strong feelings against American foreign policy in class. The Times described GWU's program as an academic proving ground for aspiring diplomats and researchers near the State Department's headquarters. So, spooks. Muslim-majority nations, plus a handful of private groups associated with them, have given $100 million to George Washington University in the form of gifts and contracts since 2011, according to Department of Education disclosures. That includes $80 million from Saudi Arabia, $14 million from Kuwait, $4.5 million from the United Arab Emirates, and $730,000 from Turkey. Most of these countries gave as recently as June 2018. The Middle East Centers of Washington University The Middle East centers of Washington area universities provide a direct line to shaping U.S. policy. In 2011, for example, GWU's now director of the Middle East Studies program, Nathan Brown, testified before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. We have no policy towards the Muslim Brotherhood. And let me stake out what might seem to be an odd position here. I do not think we need a policy. Wow, what an ignorant statement. Is the movement harboring a desire to pursue its agenda through forceful, even violent means? The answer to this question is clear. No. Oh my gosh. He said, highlighting a comparison between the Muslim Brotherhood and the Boy Scouts. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Spokesmen for GWU have repeatedly ignored questions from the Daily Caller News Foundation about the foreign funding. Even as GWU receives financing from Middle East interests, the Department of Education has used taxpayer money to amplify its ability to shape the way Americans think about the region. For 2019 to 2021, it received $250,000 for foreign language and area studies of the Middle East from a U.S. taxpayer-funded program known as Title VI. Title VI grantees often have a trickle-down influence that shapes how not only college students, but young school children understand the Middle East. The Education Department says that in addition to supporting foreign language and area studies instruction and research, Title VI recipients will conduct outreach and develop programs that expand global opportunities for K-16 educators. The DCNF found that nearly all the schools empowered to shape understandings of the Middle East in this way received funding from foreign nations from that region. And here are different universities and the amounts of money that they received. You can see that it is drastically outweighed from nations here from this particular region. Now, this situation has opened a backdoor route to Saudi influence over America's K-12 curriculum. It's very scary. A senior fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, Stanley Kurtz, wrote in the National Review in 2007. Believe it or not, the Saudis have figured out how to make an end run around America's K-12 curriculum safeguards, thereby gaining control over much of what children in the United States learn about the Middle East. The Muslim nations awarded $603 million to the 12 universities from 2011 to 2016, 80 times more than the allocated Title VI funding, the DCNF found. Only one Title VI recipient, Georgetown University, received more in funds from Muslim nations than George Washington University. Jonathan A.C. Brown, who serves as director of the Saudi-funded Al-Walid bin Talal Center for Muslim-Christian Understanding at Georgetown, has defended slavery because the Prophet Muhammad had slaves, and his father-in-law was convicted of providing material support to terrorists. On his Twitter feed, Brown has espoused radical political positions and has said Muslims who alert the FBI about other Muslims should be ostracized. He says, want to be accepted in the Muslim community? Try not sicking the FBI and Muslims who don't like you. Ever see a Shia Muslim here do that? Nope. Wow. Wow. So that is a disturbing article, and it's no wonder why we have been seeing an uptick in sympathetic and, almost brainwashing type of curriculum surrounding the ideas of this particular religion in our schools. I have heard people have written me and said that their children were forced to pray, to kneel several times a day as they're supposed to in Islam, but they're not allowed to pray, to our God. That's just insane to me, and you cannot have it one way and not the other. We need to do something about this, and we need to do something about it now. All right, guys, now we are on to a variety of posts for today. First of all, we are going to be using my friend Method's Twitter feed because he does a great job in putting it together. It makes it very easy for me to jump from post to post, and I think it makes it easier for you guys to read it. So in the first post from this morning at 9:47, we have this right here. Topic, taxpayer theft. Insider versus outsider. Retain control versus lose control. Kennedy was an outsider, assassinated. Reagan was an outsider, assassination attempt. POTUS is an outsider. Classification, classified, high. How much money, cash, was sent by the Fed to Iraq for the Iraq War? And then there's a series of articles. How much cash was confiscated from the Iraq Central Bank? Example, not intended for public awareness. This is about missing cash from the Iraqi bank. If it worked in Iraq, why not replicate in Iran? How much cash money was sent to Iran? Who controls the distribution of funds? Who accounts for the funds? Who has access to the funds? Now, who really has access to the funds? Do funds return in the form of political donations? Do funds return in the form of massive donations to foundations and or institutes? Do funds return in the form of offshore bank accounts for future payoffs and payments? Replicate, environment, green, aid, assist. No honest controls in place. There are no checks and balances in place. No safeguards in place. Threat of an outsider becoming president, it means loss of control. Trillions of dollars are at stake here with these people, controlled by group of special interests, illusion of democracy. Welcome to the real world. We cannot afford to lose this rare opportunity to right the wrongs. We, the people, must reclaim what is rightfully ours. We must rise. We must fight. God bless the United States of America. That is a powerful, powerful post right there. Now, right here, we have our favorite Anon linking to a video. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick.
What's up, everybody? Tonight, I will be given a complete breakdown of why anyone who says Q is a LARP is most likely a paid shill.
All right, this is a great video, but we're not going to play it here. I want everyone to go to this channel and check it out. So tell you what, I am going to subscribe to you. Where we go one, we go all. Excellent, excellent work, Anon. And our favorite Anon says, thank you, Patriot. Okay, so next. The post is a Twitter status from NBC, and it says, but fake news pushes the narrative that POTUS is ... fill in the blank. Wake up, America. It's fake news. What does it say? New. Exclusive. Trump admin launches global campaign to end the criminalization of homosexuality in dozens of nations where it's still illegal to be gay. U.S. officials tell NBC News. A bid aimed in part at denouncing Iran over its human rights record. Well, gosh, if President Trump doesn't like gay people, then why is he doing that? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. How did it jump so far down? Okay. Next, another cue. This is actually an embed from my friend The Sharp Edge. Right here. Start from beginning. Small. Sampling of proofs. Patriots in control. You are the news now. There is that post. And that was a video of our favorite Anon that was included. Now, Anons respond to Q's call for proofs. Okay, so these are proofs that our Anon friends on the board have posted. Former White House advisor continues fueling QAnon conspiracy that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead. And this is proof from what our favorite Anon had said. Who are the doctors currently treating RBG? That thing right there. And then be prepared for more fake news and disinfo stating we stated the death of this justice. Read carefully. Our favorite Anon never said that she was dead, all right? And, you know, even though I've speculated that she might be, I've also speculated that she may actually be alive someplace. We've got lots of speculation going on. Okay, so next, we've got two more cues. Are you ready, shill? Survival of the fittest. And this is responding to, in control of what? Nothing, that's what. Oh, yes. And don't forget, we are Q. This is what President Trump's inauguration looked like. And the media would have us believe that it was empty. Look at this. The streets are filled. Every place, standing room only, because all of us knew exactly what was at stake, how important this was. Let's go take a look at the video real quick. All right, this is a video about the United States Armed Forces and how powerful they are. This is at stake right here. Our international might had been co-opted previously and taken over. Well, guess what? Anon's patriots are at control now. So we are the ones who are going to be leading this fight from here on out, as we have been. Now, another post from our favorite Anon right
Joe,
here.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Great to have you back with us. You know,
This is an excellent interview of Joe DeNova discussing the finer points of McCabe's 60 Minutes interview. Now, I encourage everyone to go listen to this. This is about 15 minutes long. It's definitely worth a listen. Joe basically talks about the fact that Mccabe has signed his own death warrant by giving these interviews. And like
60 Minutes interview with Deputy Director, FBI Deputy Director.
And as I said, there's absolutely no way in my mind that Andrew McCabe's statements can be lost on him. I think that he is doing this because he has reached a deal. And in reaching that deal, it's necessary for him to publicly out everything that happened so that it will saturate into the consciousness of every American who does not understand what's going on. All right, another one. This is a status from Sarah Carter. Exclusive. 1 year later, the president ordered ODNI and NSA to do it more than a year ago. We have yet to see that implemented, Representative Nunes tells me. ODNI and NSA impede lawmakers' review of Obama admin unmasking requests. Well, that's very interesting. And our favorite Anon replies, insert info between critical and from. Discretion must be applied when dealing with matters of national security, sensitive ongoing investigations. Info released to date was necessary in order to refute the fake news narrative and provide the public with a taste of the truth, and i.e. future events. Confirmed sources house that you gain critical info from is simply one of many vehicles used by design, controlled at the top. No leaks for this reason. So telling us that this is happening in this way because it's what's necessary, all right? They have not acted publicly because they have things that are going on behind the scenes. This is from a couple hours ago. This is one of my favorites. The declassification of all requested documents and more will occur. This is not a game. Do not let personal, emotional desires do it now. Now. What is taking so long? Now. Take over. Logical thinking and strategy should always be applied. Game theory. We all want to see equal justice under the law. New threats, investigations by the Southern District of New York, Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters, in an effort to delay, prevent, release, insurance extension, will fail. Transparency is the only way forward. Define the following: treason, sedition, subversion, conspiracy to commit. Do you understand and fully appreciate the gravity of the situation? Do you understand and fully appreciate what POTUS endures each and every single day? He loves this country. He loves you. We must stand together in this fight. There is evil in this world. There is darkness in this world. There are those in power who wish to control and enslave you, to keep you sedated, to keep you unaware, to keep you blind. This will be on our timetable, and we will deliver. Transparency and prosecution. There is simply no other way except one. And that one, I think, is the suicide weekend route. If these people don't want to publicly face justice, the transparency of their actions, and the prosecution for those actions, then they can take themselves out. But in the meantime, keep in mind, concerned trolls, this is happening on the president and MI and Q and the establishment that President Trump has put together. This is happening on their watch, on their timetable. And just because you want it to happen now, doesn't mean that it's going to happen now. Doesn't mean that you're going to hear about stuff that you are not safely able to be released yet. This is happening on our favorite Anon's timetable, and that is the end of the story. Now, apparently there was a spelling error, forgot to capitalize country, and of course, error made on the move. This is what happens when you're operating in the field. Okay, so, Executive Order 13526, Section 1.7, Classification, Prohibitions, and Limitation. A. In no case shall information be classified, continue to be maintained as classified, or fail to be declassified in order to 1. Conceal violations of the law, inefficiency, or administrative error. 2, prevent embarrassment to a person, organization, or agency. 3, restrain competition. Or 4, prevent or delay the release of information that does not require protection in the interest of the national security. I knew how powerful that was when President Trump made that executive order. And now it's going to be even more important because they have admitted what they've done. All right, review time. All right, so our favorite Anon is asking us to review these two things here. I met with the DOJ concerning the declassification of various unredacted documents. They agreed to release them, but they also stated that doing so may have a perceived negative impact on the Russia probe. Also, key allies called to ask not to release. Therefore, the Inspector General has been asked to review these documents on an expedited basis. I believe he will move quickly on this, and hopefully other things which he is looking at. In the end, I can always declassify if it proves necessary. Speed is very important to me and everyone. Now, statement from the press secretary from September 2018. At the request of a number of committees and for reasons of transparency, the President has directed the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and the Department of Justice to provide for the immediate declassification of the following materials. Now, these items right here are related to the FISA warrants for Carter Page, the FBI interviews of Bruce Orr, and anything connected to the Russia investigation, and all FBI reports of interviews prepared in connection with all Carter Page FISA applications. Now, putting these two things together, all right, these things have been classified up until this point because of the fact that they are damaging to the individuals who participated in this. And once they come out, it will be patently obvious that our government, elements in our government, acted against our president in a treasonous and seditious fashion. Okay, so here is the actual post. It says review time. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at these images. President Trump in May 20th of 2018 said, I hereby demand and will do so officially tomorrow that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI, DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. We now know conclusively that they did. Now, here is a photo from Politico that President Trump posted. I hereby demand a second investigation after Schumer of Pelosi for her close ties to Russia and lying about it. This is the Pelosi and Schumer, or this is at least Pelosi and some other Dems. Is that Steny Hoyer? They're at a dinner with Russian. I believe that's the Kislyak, and then perhaps is that Lavrov, but some Russians basically. This one, we need to offer our thoughts and prayers for this particular Anon right here. So they go on to say, Anons, you've been my fam and friends since Q came to town on October 28th, 2017. I love you so much. I have to go take a very sick dog to the vet to get put down tonight because her cancer has gone too far. If my significant other were still alive, I'd reach out, but brain cancer got him a few years ago. If my parents and bestest friend were alive, I'd reach out to them, but they're all in heaven now too. So you guys are the ones I know I can lean on for a little support, because saying goodbye even to a bloody old doggy can be so hard. Our time together here with Q has taught me how connected we are, even though we may never meet. I thank God for you guys, and I'll stay strong for my suffering pal tonight, because where we go one, we go all. You guys helped me say goodbye to a very old dog last winter too. You helped me so much. I will introduce you all to my loved ones when we meet in heaven someday. For now, thank you, friends, for letting me share my sadness. I need to stay strong for some upcoming battles, and you help me more than my words can ever convey. And our favorite Anon responds, thoughts and prayers. May you be comforted by the outpouring of love surrounding you. And that just gets me. All right, guys, we are going to check the board and see if there was anything new that dropped while I was recording this. Oof. All right, 3 new posts. Here is a new Ben Garrison cartoon. Ben Garrison, I love his work. Got Donald Trump. This is like Gulliver's Travels. All of these little guys trying to keep him down. And Trump is pushing the emergency button. Oh, crazy, oh, Cortez. There's the swamp. George Soros is the swamp. And the Ninth Circuit. McCabe hanging himself. This is a great Federal Reserve with that pyramid head. That's great. Good job, Ben Garrison. Love your work, bud. And Q says, thank you, Patriot. And someone responds, he needs to be invited to the White House. And then somebody says, all he needs to do is ask. Ben Garrison, if you're listening, you need to ask to go to the White House, because if we got a picture of you and POTUS together, my God, that would be amazing. That would go straight up on the board. And Anon posts here, such a lovely Q2, right there in the flashing light on the emergency button siren. Oh, you guys, this is happening so fast, all right? I know some people, no matter what you tell them, they're not going to be able to handle the fact that this is on a timetable that they are not in control of. But you know what? If you think about it, there's not much you're in control of, all right? You are here by the grace of God, and only God is the one who is truly in control. God is allowing the Anons, the people working behind the scenes, the people working within this operation to do what they need to do, and it has to happen in the perfect time frame for this to work. So please sit back, relax. The sooner you realize that you are not in control and that you can't do anything about it other than contribute in some small way, as I try to do, life gets a lot easier. All right? This is definitely a tenet that I live my life by. I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. As always, I am Red Pill 78, the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.